heard the term sadfishing? It's an online trend where someone posts about an emotional problem in order to gain sympathy and elicit likes and comments from their followers.
Numerous celebrities have been accused of sadfishing, including Kendall Jenner, who earlier this year launched a skincare campaign off the back of an emotional video posted to social media. Well, now a new study has found young people are at risk of bullying and developing mental health problems if they overshare online. So, joining us now to discuss this, previous Love Island contestant Montana Brown, who thinks sharing problems online is a positive thing to do, alongside her journalist Rebecca Reid, who doesn't agree with that. Rebecca, do you think it's a sort of glamorising of your internal struggle for likes?
Yeah, so I think there are different ways of sharing online. If you are writing an honest, accurate post about your experiences, all power to you. What I struggle with is when you put the glamorous, sexy bits of your issues online while leaving the reality out. So sharing a super thin picture of you at the height of your eating disorder looking very beautiful, incredibly irresponsible, done for all the wrong reasons. Talking honestly about the reality of an eating disorder, you're covered in fur, you don't have any energy, you're covered in bruises, powerful, important and helpful.
I think that there's also the issue that worries me, Montana, is that if people do share these issues, and I know that you're very supportive when people do, actually younger people might be encouraged to do the same thing. And my fear is, actually, you don't always get likes for it. Sometimes the response is really nasty. And if you're feeling vulnerable and low and you think this is going to give me some support, actually you can be in the worst position possible for then that reaction.
But then I feel like some people don't have the confidence and they don't want to share their problems with their mum or their dad or their close people around them. So why not share it online if it's going to make them feel better? Like, I personally share my problems online because I like people to see what I'm doing and be like, oh, do you know what? She's got anxiety, I've got anxiety. That makes me feel better that I'm not alone.
Have you ever shared anything that has elicited negative response? So you've shared something quite poignant, something quite emotional, and actually you've got some trolling for it, some grief for it?
I mean, I shared about, you know, my friend Mike and how upsetting that was for me and how I felt kind of after losing someone in that way. And yeah, of course, you get negativity along the way, but to be honest, it doesn't really bother me because I know that it did help a lot of people as well.
But I wonder if the problem is, so I have anxiety as well, and it's hideous. I think the issue is when I talk about it, considerably fewer people care that I have anxiety than you because you're like a household name. And then beyond me is if you're a teenager who's got 50 followers. And I think teenagers are learning how to use social media from very famous, very beloved people. And they see that when you post about anxiety, everyone cares. And then when they post about anxiety, nobody cares. And you get to school and everyone's like, that was super weird that you posted that. And this is the problem.
But I don't go online and say, I've got anxiety, everyone liked my picture, you know, feel sorry for me. I'm saying I've got anxiety, go reach out, get some help, because it is a serious problem and you should talk to people about it.
So that's a really interesting, different use of the sadfishing, as a term I think you coined.
I did, I made it up. And then I was a bit upset because I think it's kind of been slightly taken sideways of where I meant it, and it's being used to tell people not to share online, and that is not what I'm saying. Share responsibly. So,
and also, I think I would say, share if you are mature enough to deal with the response. That is my concern. Montana's got a point. If you're talking about issues which might affect lots of people and they can't talk to anyone else, it might give them an enormous amount of comfort that that particular celebrity is talking about it relating to them.
Yeah.
If they then, however, go and share their issue, as you say, they don't get the same kind of support and they're actually not being helped by it, it can have a negative effect.
And I was a massive sadfisher like when I first had social media, and every time I had a fight with my boyfriend, I'd be on there being like, I'm so hurt, it's so hard. And I think the problem is that I didn't get anything from that, but it felt easier to put it into the public world where everyone can see it, rather than talk to my housemate who was in the bedroom next door. And that's a scary thing when it feels so much easier to write it than speak to a real person.
But do you not think that's a cry for help in itself? That people feel like it's easier for them to write about it online than it is to talk about it in person. I've just enrolled to be a crisis practitioner, basically, to help, a counsellor, to help young kids to talk online, and they feel a lot more comfortable texting in rather than speaking to someone about it, and that's just the way we live at the minute.
But that's still a one-to-one support mechanism, isn't it?
Yeah.
The trouble is when you put yourself online, you don't have control necessarily over who
response.
But
responds
also, when
to
you do that, which is amazing, like, that's fantastic that you're doing that, you're trained, like, you know what you're doing. And the problem is with this, and the scariest part of this research is that it makes children more vulnerable to grooming, is that if you're posting saying, I'm lonely and unhappy, an unsavoury person can take that and can use that to build a bond with you, which is really dangerous, unlike speaking to somebody like the Samaritans, where people are trained and regulated.
Yeah. The trouble is, I mean, with social media, it's Pandora's box, isn't it?
It is.
You know, there are all sorts of ways in which it is terrific, but you know, as we say all the time, the downsides are so risky, aren't they? I mean, if you do have a problem, I would suggest talking to someone, your housemate, your parent, a teacher at school is
But I also
so
don't
much
get.
more
I also don't
effective.
get the harm in people in the public eye sharing their own problems to help other people, because people don't go on social media to talk about their anxiety, their depression, any other mental health problems that they have. A lot of the time, they don't do it for attention. They do it because they genuinely want to help people, because it's something positive they can do with their platform.
I think it depends on the celebrity. I think there are lots of celebrities who do it in a really helpful, productive
Positive way.
I think there are some celebrities who will do it in a very glamourised, uncompromising, still making themselves look incredibly cool and sexy.
OK.
P.S. I've got anxiety.
We're going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Thank you very much both for joining us this
Montana,
morning.
and good luck with the counselling, because
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
extraordinary
Thank you.
thing to do. Well done, Rebecca. Thanks very much.